Internet.
Hello.
Their experiences on the old military makeover and such.
What? Oh, that's what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
I thought we were just having them in to
Water, but do you want water or anything?
talk about
I've
homeschooling.
got my tea.
I should be fine. Thank you.
Okay, so we are we're live on
Usually
the
have water.
Facebooks now.
Well, I'm looking.
We are.
We are.
see.
Okay.
I think so.
Thanks, honey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find.
2 minutes.
So we
I
need
think
to
I'm
be
gonna share because
share it,
I don't
man.
know that.
Share it.
If we're chatting, I'm going to use this microphone.
Oh, if you're like actually on the air.
Correct.
Oh, I like this. This sounds much better. You should just use that.
We take callers?
We can take callers. 844
So-
Studio 4. Like, so if you're watching on Facebook
Yeah.
from anywhere in America and you want to call in and talk to these famous people that we have on the show, it's 844 Studio 4.
America's.
How about that? Or you could say it like this 844-788-3464.
Well, yeah.
That sounded very
that was
radio
excellent.
broadcast professionalish.
Well, you are a semi-professional radio
Semi, that's right.
personality.
Semi-professional.
Well, I didn't want to overstate it.
Amateur
did a
mountain
great
climber,
Thank you.
novice radio guy.
Oh my gosh.
Did you find? Are we online?
I believe that I have shared it on our
think we are.
Facebook. I don't know if
Oh, do another one of those.
Durant.
Yeah,
Let me
get
let
you
me
a couple
face bomb.
selfies.
Huh?
Let me
Yeah,
face
wait,
bomb
yeah,
that.
hold on.
Yeah, do another one of those.
All right.
We're doing the obligatory.
Wait, I'll see if I can do it. Like, there we go. This is so fun.
All right.
The best show ever.
Sydney is probably the best person you've had on.
Oh, yeah. If you
Most
get lost,
energetic.
she'll
It
carry you.
literally just be like, Sydney, what do you think? I have
I
thoughts.
think everything. All right, 10 seconds.
News Talk Now. The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Purple Heart Homes presents Putting the Pieces Back Together, a forum for veterans and the community to connect. Here are your hosts, veterans John Gallina and Brad Borders.
Well, it is outstanding to have everyone with us today on Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. How are you, sir?
You said I'm great, but you said everyone. John isn't here.
Oh, John is not here. He's on another secret mission.
Yeah.
Actually,
Everyone that was
we
here.
just got a text message from him saying he was not going to be joining us. He was going to sit and listen and criticize us.
Oh man.
Did not.
He did. He actually did
He
that.
did actually say that.
He did. He
But
literally said
I
that.
think he said it in jest.
Oh,
Well, of
please.
course he did.
But
course.
if you think that he was really actually upset with and going to criticize us, then you should call in and complain about John.
Well, you
and,
know, people could always call in. If you're interested in calling in and you're listening out there, 844 Studio
And call and
4.
criticize in person.
Right.
Is that what-
Anybody can call in. 844 Studio 4 or 844 788 3464. Those are the two same numbers.
they are. How does that work?
There's actually letters and numbers on your telephone pad.
Well, I've got that one that you got the dial on it. Like the little,
They've got them too.
yeah,
They've got them too.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. And it was troubling that when you had one of those dial-in phones like that, and you misdialed something, you had to redial and do it all over again.
The old rotary. thing.
Yeah, the rotary.
Hit the hang up button.
Yeah, you hit the hang up button, click, right? So, we have got a amazing show today.
What's happening?
I
Who's our
don't know.
guest?
Why don't you tell us?
Well, okay. Well, I'm looking right before me, and we've been talking a little bit about the military makeover the past few weeks here and there.
Tell us a little bit about Military Makeover before you introduce our guests so that we can have some incredible context from you.
Wow. So, Military Makeover, if y'all are not familiar out there in the listening world or watching world, it would appear.
Or the hinterlands.
That wasn't me.
It is a show that appears on Lifetime Television, also the Armed Forces Network, and syndicated nationally. That picks one family every season to do a house makeover.
Yes.
that has had some sort of strife in the military and
A challenge, if you will.
a challenge, absolutely. And
Yes.
so they pick this family out and they take them out of the house, take everything they knew, and just rip it all out and
Yes.
build it back.
That's right.
And they do a fantastic job
Yeah,
of
they do.
making it
They do.
better.
That's true.
And locally, they've chosen one family in the Statesville area.
That's true. That's correct. And we had a
Jared-
celebrity
And we
that
did.
came
Oh,
to
yeah.
Statesville.
Who was that guy?
I don't know.
He had a great hairstyle.
He did. His name is Montel Williams. Montel Williams, right? Never heard? Yeah, ever heard of him?
yeah,
Right? Yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
I mean,
We had Montel right in this studio. It was fantastic.
that was the old studio
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
before they did the WSIC makeover in here.
It's the actual same room. But he was
they
in
did
here.
they did the makeover.
I know. We did a military makeover of the studio.
Well, anyways,
Thanks, Montel.
let's get to our guests.
Let's do that. Why don't you introduce them?
This is Jared and Sydney Bowman of Statesville, North Carolina. Why don't y'all say hi?
Well, good afternoon.
Hi.
Oh, awesome. That sounded very NPR-ish
nice.
there, Jared.
Wow.
Hello.
Hello.
No, I
That's
need
a
a
great
redo.
question.
I need a redo.
You can
Hi.
do a redo.
Thank you so much for having me here.
You're welcome. That's fantastic. Sydney is
Great.
glowing right now.
Having a great time.
It's the greatest day ever.
She did ask if she could sing a song on air. I don't know.
I said if the spirit moved and a
Got the
song
thumbs
came
up.
to me, would that
Spirit's
be
always
appropriate?
moving.
I told you as long as it was in the domain
Public
public
domain.
domain. Yeah,
Yeah. There
you
I'm
go.
not very bright. You
Public
said I don't know why
domain.
I'm on a radio show.
You
we
are bright.
yeah. But so tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, so I was born in Raleigh. We moved to Statesville when I was 6. My dad's work brought us here. So grew up here in Statesville. Went to school at NC State. Came home. Was working around in Statesville and met my lovely wife and kind of chased her for a couple years. And she eventually said yes to a date. And I remember.
Or did she just slow down?
Yeah.
Finally caught her.
But, no, I remember telling a friend of mine before we were official boyfriend or girlfriend or anything, if I can get this girl to say yes, I'm going to marry her.
No.
And about 4 months later, we were engaged.
No kidding. I remember
Wow.
that. Yeah, it's a beautiful story. Sydney, chime in, please.
Yeah, well, it's been a wild ride. Before we got married, I sort of thought I was signing up for small town living, and man was going to be home for dinner at 5 o'clock every night, and that has not been the case.
No,
No,
it's
he
not.
surprised me.
There was a shift. in
There was a
gears.
shift, yes. And I'll tell you, I come from a military family, and so I think maybe there was a part of me that was attracted to that part of Jared that inevitably said, I gotta go join the military. I need to go do this thing, and so, but I just had our first daughter when he joined the North Carolina National Guard, and so it's been a wild ride ever since.
Yeah. So, Jared, what was the? Well, I know this story, but I want everybody else to hear about. What was the? How did how did you scratch the itch? You know, what was that made you want to just sign up and say, "Hey, I'm willing to serve my country in the Guard"?
Sure. Well, it had always been an interest of mine. Growing up, I was fascinated by military history. I was in the library all the time, checking out all the World War II and Vietnam and Civil War and just different eras of American history, American conflict was always just, it interested me. Band of Brothers came out at exactly the right time. I was
Oh, it's a
13,
great show.
14 years old, and I was like, I want to jump out of airplanes and kill bad guys. and so, I turned 18, thought about the military, ended up doing college instead. Got to the end of college, thought about the military, got a job that I really liked instead. Started to think about the military again, got married, and then my first child came along, and Sydney wanted to stop working full time so that she could be home with the girls. And I would drive out north part of the county and play basketball with some friends, and there was a billboard. It was part-time work, full-time benefits or something like that. And I was like, honey, I could join the National Guard
Mhm.
and I'll be here.
This whole
Yeah,
conversation
you'll be there the
sounds
whole
Almost.
time.
They don't
Always.
make you ever leave.
Yeah, it's,
I know. Tricked me.
No.
And we could have decent health insurance, and she wouldn't have to keep a full-time job. And so we talked about it, and she agreed that sounded like it'd be a good fit. And so I walked
After
in.
many tears. After
Oh,
many
man.
tears. But yes, it was a good fit.
This
And
whole
so-
conversation sounds incredibly familiar.
Yeah, Tammy, are you feeling any type of way
yes.
about this?
All familiar.
It does sound familiar.
Happened with me, but helped me to help those other people that I knew when that conversation came into their life.
This is
Mhm.
true. You've
Yeah.
been a great Army spouse, by the way.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
So, but yeah, I found myself in the recruiter's office, and he was interested in putting me in a unit that actually jumps out of airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
And so pretty soon after that, I was off to basic training, and my
Skipping.
wife will tell you, I was
Skipping off
excited.
to basic training.
like
Yes.
physically skipping.
Oh, he was so happy.
Wow.
He was
Was it
glowing. I'm
simply-
holding the baby, and I'm like, look, crying. And he's,
Was
oh,
it simply because he didn't want to change diapers?
I think
You know, like I'm going to join the Army. I'm going to get out of this because I
I
don't
don't, I
get
don't
it.
really think
the
that's an appropriate
sleepless
way to deal with that
nights.
situation.
Yeah. No.
So yeah, I was very excited to go get started on that adventure, and yeah, a lot of fun, and maybe some challenging things happened.
This is true. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get into that. We got a break coming up and got to hear from our sponsors.
Right, and then we'll hear more about how Jared skipped away from his wife.
Yeah, you're listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. We'll see you back here in just a minute. We're going to stay live on Facebook.
Putting the Pieces Back Together. We'll be back with more of John Gallina and Brad Borders after these messages from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, boy, talk about a big difference from the
So,
All right.
so we're back on.
There we are.
Yeah.
I've
Hello,
got some
Facebook people.
So this is a little behind the scenes stuff for everybody on Facebook. Joe, I've got some incredible static going on in my headphones.
That one will be getting replaced.
Okay, thank you very much. Not today. Okay, and we'll deal with it today.
So also we should adjust where these little switches are because I keep feeling like Brad's reaching over to touch me under the table. I don't know. I'm like, what? Why are you trying to touch me? I don't get it, dude.
I mean, you could scoot over.
I mean, I guess it's.
That Devin, he's dead sexy.
I mean, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's amazing. So this is exclusive content for everyone watching and not listening on terrestrial radio. I love saying that, terrestrial radio.
It does have a nice ring to it.
It's better than extraterrestrial radio.
Oh, have you heard any extraterrestrial radio
all
lately?
the time.
Really?
Yeah, all the
Do
time.
you have the
All the time.
tinfoil hat and everything?
all
to go?
of it, yeah. I'm hearing and seeing things all the time.
Yeah.
A comment
Hey,
on
so
Facebook.
hey, while we're
There was a comment on Facebook.
oh, what is it?
Charlie wanted to know if Sydney had brought any of the delicious things that she had brought to Purple Heart Homes to the studio today.
Ooh.
No, I
And
did
I
not.
said,
So
I am
that-
sad to say no.
Well, I almost killed Brad. It was an
Right.
accident. Yes. Oh my gosh. I never put peanut butter chips in my chocolate chip cookies. I never do that. And for whatever reason, that day I did.
I had
And
one.
he almost put it in his mouth and went, oh no.
Stop it.
No, stop. Oh my goodness.
For those
And
that
I
don't
don't
know.
think that was the batch. But I couldn't swear to it.
Couldn't
so,
risk it, though.
Yeah, I couldn't risk it.
Yeah, I didn't have my
I'm real
EpiPen.
sorry. I owe you some
Are you
cookies.
allergic to peanuts?
Oh, definitely.
yes.
Like I'll
I
go.
had
I'll
no
go.
idea.
Yeah, I'll go to see Jesus if I don't have a
I
EpiPen.
should really know that because
Yeah, you
I'm
should.
always in your office.
when you're
and-
trying to
As
feed me
long as
peanuts.
he's not
Yeah, it's
eating
like-
it, we're good.
I used to have a nightmare. About monkey people feeding me peanut butter and mayonnaise. Yeah, it was when I was little. Like all my friends would go like, "Yeah, you saw the monkey people lately? Yeah, they were trying to feed me peanut butter and mayonnaise."
Oh wow, yeah. You know what? I would probably be afraid of the monkey
That
people
would be
too.
terrible.
You know,
That would just
I tried to come into your office the other day and offer you deep fried peanuts. You just happened not to be there.
Well, I'm so glad I was not there.
I had them at your desk. You should probably like just scrub everything
Yeah,
down.
probably should. Yeah,
I dropped some on the floor. No, I'm just-
I hid some. I hid some in your
Devin's trying to
lunchbox.
get rid of you.
I licked one and put it in your drawer.
Is your affliction such that, like, if it's just in the air, you're messed up? Wow.
Be road ready with Tilly of Statesville.
Putting the Pieces Back Together continues now. Here are your hosts, John Gallina and Brad Borders on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together with Brad Borders and me, Devil Dog Devin. We've got some amazing guests today. Jared and Sydney Bowman of Military Makeover. You might have heard of the show, hopefully.
Maybe. Montel Williams action.
Oh, yeah. Great dude.
And
Great
Art
dude.
and Jen.
Oh, my gosh. I took my wife over there and Val and her husband, and we stayed up all night drinking mojitos working on the Bowman's house. I bet they don't know that.
Wait, time out. Time out. So you went over with Jason and Val and y'all imbibed alcohol?
Maybe.
While working. Have you noticed anything not straight in the house? Hey, that paint line
So
looks terrible.
if the curtains are a little off, I apologize. I may have done.
And why mojitos? Why not?
Because I make a mean mojito.
Okay, all right, I'm good with
There you
that.
go.
I crushed the lime and squeeze excuse me.
Outstanding.
Yeah, we got to muddle the
muddle.
fresh
Got
mint.
some
You have to
muddling.
muddle
Oh
something.
yeah.
All right, well, let's muddle on back to our
I
guests.
think
over
that's
here.
a great idea. Ooh, great segue.
Oh, I know. You like it. Don't try this at home, ladies and gentlemen. We are broadcast professionals. So, hey, so this whole we're building to this whole thing of Military Makeover and what happened to your lovely family through this amazing television show and Montel and everybody. So, talk to us about what your time in the military looked like, and then leading up to there was an event, right? And so, yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So military service was something I grew up interested in. The time for me to join came about in 2016. So I headed to Fort Jackson for basic training and then out to Fort Huachuca for advanced individual training. And then, to my unit, it was located at Fort Bragg. So it's called the MCPOD, or the Main Command Post Operational
Is that a
Detachment.
McDonald's thing? The McPod?
Yeah,
Is that a new thing on the menu?
They serve McDonald's for every meal, I think.
Outstanding.
We have
Well,
an officer.
good.
We have an officer bring it in for us.
Only the best for our soldiers.
No, not affiliated with McDonald's, but so it came out of the sequester in 2013. The 82nd Airborne lost some support positions, so they approached the North Carolina National Guard and asked, "Hey, would you guys like to stand up an airborne unit that would be able to augment our operations?" And of course, the North Carolina National Guard wanted to have people jumping out of planes. That's a great, going to drive recruiting. So they said yes, and so I ended up in that unit. It was fairly new, and I absolutely loved it. Some great soldiers. The unit itself is comprised of about a third officers, a third NCOs, and a third lower enlisted. And if you've been in or around the military, you know that's not how a unit is typically put together.
It is not.
And so there at the beginning of my career, I was around a lot of older, more mature soldiers, a lot of rank that your typical 18, 19-year-old's just not going to be in contact with that many guys who are further along in their careers. So for me and my development, it was fantastic because you've got guys from all around the military. You can kind of pull from their experience and learn and develop as you're starting out. So that was a great fit for me. I was there for about 2 years, and then I got pulled over to a intelligence company that was deploying to Kuwait. So I was in Kuwait we left for training in June of 19, and I got home in September of 2020. And so, I'm sure everyone remembers, that comprised some COVID time.
A giant cluster.
Yes.
Yes.
A giant cluster of stuff. So, as not fun as the COVID times were here, it was also not fun over there. The deployment, there are challenges. You're away from home. You're in the desert. There are things that are uncomfortable and unpleasant for sure. But I mean, before, everything kind of shut down, we had all kinds of activities that you could do. So, I mean, there were, sports leagues, you could go do continuing ed stuff. I was taking martial arts classes, there were Bible studies, church services, and of course, all of that shuts down. And so, you're over there and basically you could go to the office and really they put us on 50% manning because they didn't want us all together in enclosed areas. And so I worked from 8A to 12P, and then it was just go back to your room and wait for 20 hours a day.
So you're already away from your family, and now that you can't even do anything to entertain yourself, or
Right.
try to take your mind off of it.
There was a lot of reading, and
And we had another baby during that.
yes,
Well-
a baby that did come along while I was deployed.
Yes, and my wife was were you
I got
one
to
of the
be there.
midwives, if you will, the,
I was there.
the
for that.
midwives of Iredell County.
Yes.
It was a
could be
whole
show.
crew.
That sounds like a book. Is that a book?
Yeah.
It
It's a new
should
show
be.
coming
Yeah.
on
Great.
Lifetime right after Military Makeover.
But that was
Midwives
during
of
COVID
Iredell
as
County.
well,
Yeah.
right
yeah.
before. And
Yep.
then when you came home, you actually had
It-
to stay for a little while because of.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was a bit of an adventure, but yeah. So our third daughter Annie was born February 9th, and
Yeah, my military experience here with all of this stuff going on was Jared left with our first daughter was 5 weeks old and got home on her first birthday. So we missed that whole year.
Oh, wow.
And then we had our second daughter. He was home for that. And then he left when I was 2 months pregnant with our third child. And so I did the toddler phase with two toddlers and pregnant with a third. And I'm not going to lie to you, that was a very difficult year for me. COVID came around right as I'm delivering. She was born in February, and I had COVID in January.
You too.
And so I didn't know. I'll be honest with you, that was very, very hard. And you know, Tammy and a couple of other really awesome women came alongside me. They were all in there in the delivery room. I think was there 9 of us in there.
It was a good little group.
It was
What,
a
they let
she
9 people in there?
Well, yeah, so I had the baby at a birthing center here in town. And so just natural delivery. So all the women came. It was like a she cave thing happening.
did.
We're ushering
We
this
did
new
line
woman into
dancing.
the
We
earl.
had all kind of
Yeah.
fun.
So
I
it
was
was
not there.
but it was
I was at
so
home.
it was so instrumental for me because it was the support system I needed when your husband's gone, and just to have all those women there to be with me and hold my hand and cry with me and pray with me. And we had hymns going and words of encouragement, and we ushered that new little girl into the fold. It was really, I mean, that was my deployment. And then the newborn phase, and he got back when she was 7 months old. So yeah. That was
Wow.
It was a wild year.
it was a
no doubt.
wild year.
it was.
Yeah, I mean, so you get back from that. You're still in that unit, that airborne unit. You get unattached from that intel company, correct? And you go back to your airborne unit, right? Is it?
Yes.
And then, and it was the next year, correct? Or was it 2 years
It
later?
was 2 years. So I was with that unit. I got back with them in February of 21, and just working as a E5 team leader. And that brings us to June 22, when I got into a Black Hawk helicopter and jumped out of it and broke my back.
It was a Hollywood jump too, right?
It was. There
Yeah,
was
right.
absolutely no reason for me to break my back.
And what
on
is
that
a
jump.
Hollywood jump for
Yeah,
those
so-
not in the
for those
know?
that don't know, Hollywood jump is when you jump without all of your extra gear than a combat jump. A combat jump is your ruck and your weapon and your helmet and your kit, right? Everything. Hollywood jump is pretty much just you and your parachute.
That's it. Yeah.
And generally everybody loves a Hollywood jump because you're not carrying as much weight as you fall out of an aircraft. And so the impact is supposed to be a lot less.
You would think.
One would think. But on this particular day,
All
that was
items
not
fall
the
at the
case.
same rate of speed.
That's right. This was not this case.
No. And honestly, I hit the ground, and it's almost like, file not found or missing reel. Like I don't actually remember
Yeah.
from slightly before hitting the ground to slightly after, when I kind of.
Was it windy?
No, not at all.
Oh, it's
it
just
was
a perfect
really-
day.
It was about 10:15 in the morning. Big fluffy clouds, no winds.
Oh.
The sun was shining. The tank was clean. It
Yes.
was just the perfect day, a perfect jump.
Perfect day to break your back.
And I had just accepted a promotion to become a staff sergeant back with the unit I had deployed with, and so it was my last drill with the airborne unit, and so we were all laughing and joking. Oh, this is the one you're going to get hurt. Oh yeah, it's my
Oh, my
last one.
gosh.
Why
Those
did you
last
say
words.
that?
And yeah, I just came down. I don't know if I stiffened up or exactly what I did wrong. I'm sure I made some kind of mistake. And but yeah, I ended up crushing T12 and L1, 2 vertebrae in my back, disc damage, a number of different things going on.
And that is not something that happens to you and they're like, next week you're better.
No, it was more than a week until I
Rub
was
some
better.
dirt on it. You'll be fine.
So it was fun. So, of course, they throw me in the ambulance and took me to Womack, which is the hospital on Fort Bragg. And so I'm laying there, and I'm pretty sure my back is broken. And I look on the floor, and this huge cockroach just crawls under my bed.
That's a metaphor.
Oh, wow.
And so, of course, they come in and they tell me, yeah, your back's broken, and we'd like to start you on intravenous painkillers. And I was like, I'm going home. Thank you. I'd like to leave now. And
Really?
yeah, no, I did not stay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a homeboy put a brace on. They put a brace on him, and then he drove himself home.
Yeah.
I was so
Yeah.
not
you were-
happy.
Yeah, that sounds like
About
that.
that.
It's like I can imagine like on his drive home, like, why are my legs going numb?
Right. He was in so
Why-
much pain.
why
He
is it-
came, walked in the house and was like barely walking is a strong word, and like just sort of like keeled over in the bed, and I was like, why did you drive here? What is going on? Oof.
Yeah, didn't want to stay at Womack. So
Well,
I get that.
I can definitely understand
For
that.
those of us that have been there,
We understand.
So I drove home, took the pills at that point, and stayed in bed for a couple of days, and started the healing process.
yeah, and it's been a long healing process.
It has been.
Yeah, and so we're coming up on another break, and we're going to hear from our amazing sponsors that keep us on the air and support what we're doing. But when we come back, we're going to talk about how in the world Jared and Sydney got involved with Military Makeover, and then what that all looked like. And we're going to hear that glorious story. It was an amazing week that we got to spend here in Statesville back in January, and it's been airing. The last episode just aired, and you can go back on YouTube and Military Makeover channel, and you can watch that. Yeah, so you can do all that. Yeah. So anyhow, we'll be back here in just a few minutes. You're listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
Keep it right here. Putting the Pieces Back Together with John Gallina and Brad Borders will return after these messages on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
This is so fun.
Oh, it is fun. Hey, I got to
And we're
do
back.
a quick
Paid to
shout
do
out.
this.
So
Yeah,
can everybody see? Joe, is Devin? Are we back on?
We are.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually had a question.
Oh, come on.
Did I miss a Finding Nemo reference in there?
Yeah,
Yes,
he
the
did.
sun was shining.
That's
the
what I
tank was
thought.
clean. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Well
Oh
played,
my
sir.
gosh.
That went right over my head.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I need to do a quick shout out. For those of you can see online, you can see Devin has this fabulous T-shirt on. Sydney and Jared. Every guest that comes on our show gets a T-shirt, and these T-shirts are. This image, the Putting the Pieces Back Together image, was designed by our friend Lauren Andrews. She does a
Great
lot
job, Lauren.
Yeah, she
Great
does.
job.
She does a lot of cool stuff for us in graphic design. But then these T-shirts and stuff were produced by our friends at Funny Bones.
Funny Bones, yeah.
Funny Bones down in Mooresville. And so if you need T-shirts or hats or whatever made, go check out my boy Chief. That's his name. That's his F3 name. His name's Daniel Doherty. But go check out Chief. It's right there on the main drag in Mooresville at the crossroads of 150 and Iredell County Boulevard.
It's right across from that place with the moose.
It is across the place from the place with the moose.
What's the name of that place? I
The,
don't remember.
the,
Bucky's.
yes.
The
Thank you,
engineer
Joe.
has spoken into my ear.
Yes.
Very loudly, might I add.
Thanks, Joe.
You're in control of that.
Sounds
So
like
go
Devin.
check out. Yeah,
I
go
know what it
check out
feels like
Daniel
now.
and his crew. They even made this hat. So that hat that was made down there, that's our Take That Heel gear. And if you're interested in an event coming up in October and you ride a bike, you want to do a workout, we have this event called Take That Heel, and you can be a part of that. That's going to be an incredible event. We've got an amazing guest joining us. Patty Collins.
Yes.
That is going to be fantastic. We're going to try to get her on the radio show before that. Patty's an amputee and went to the Paralympics in Rio de Janeiro back in 2016. Took 10th, but she's also the world record holder in the half Ironman for Paralympics.
That's
she's pretty incredible.
Well, she's doing something now pretty
She
interesting
is
too.
the director
What is?
of the Bureau of Engraving.
Yeah. That
Like
that
for-
sounds like
We have
that
a
might
bureau
be
of engraving.
pretty.
In America.
Yes.
Like in D.C. You know the money that you keep in your pocket?
I do.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Okay.
She prints
does
the money.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I know the government's been doing a lot of that lately.
Pretty important
A
position.
lot of money printing.
80% of the dollars in circulation have been printed since 2019.
Really?
Patty's doing all that.
In 2019, we had $4 trillion in circulation. Today, it's $19 trillion.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
I
insane.
have not much of that.
I
For me to.
I thought that you were being paid hand over fist for doing this radio show. Is it-
Right.
Yes.
all 10 of our Facebook listeners right now.
All 10?
Yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic.
If they
We
each
should
gave
get
you
that
a
up
quarter,
on
you know, you still could not buy a Big Mac.
Well, you could go down to the McPod and get one.
That's
That's
right.
right. Yeah. Enlist. The officers will bring you hamburgers. You heard it here. No recruiter will ever lie to you.
Yeah, they've never told any
Never.
stories.
Never.
Speak-
I was just going to say, my recruiter actually did me. So I signed up, or I was going to sign up, took the ASVAB, got a good score. He's like, you can have any job. What do you want to be? I was like, I want to be in the infantry. He was like, no. He's like,
His score
no,
was too good.
I've got
do that.
I've got 17-year-olds I'm gonna put into that job. I need you to do something that requires a higher score. And so I was like, okay, well, what do you think? And he was like, you should go be in intelligence. I was like, okay, whatever. I loved the job he plugged me into. Absolutely, he did me a solid.
No kidding.
Yeah, like and there's still a part of me wish I had done cool guy stuff. But the work that I got to be part of made a difference and made bad guys dead and kept some good guys alive.
That's awesome. Also, I do want to point out when you did do cool guy stuff, you kind of broke your back.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the thing is if I hadn't been in intel, I never would have gotten to jump out of airplanes and helicopters. Wouldn't have broken my back, but it's part of it, and I'm genuinely proud of being a paratrooper and just
Yeah, that is really cool. I mean, I think everybody dreams of doing that goes into the military. Yeah, I'm going to jump out of airplanes and kill bad guys, just like you said before. Yeah, that's a really cool job.
What a heck of a way to die.
What a heck of I can sing that whole song. Actually, it takes me about 5 minutes to sing that song.
Blood on the Risers is the name of that
on the
song.
Risers.
ABBA. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Now, back to putting the pieces back together with your hosts, John Gallina and Brad Borders, on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Hey, welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. We're having a great time in here today. I'm not sure why everybody's laughing at me, but I must have done something
you
stupid.
didn't do
Okay, good. Sometimes I'm not so attuned into what's going on. So
That is true.
That is true. You don't have to say it so.
I love you.
Okay, thank you. But we are joined in studio with Jared and Sydney Bowman, who are longtime Statesville residents, and Jared served in the National Guard and got hurt in an airborne accident a few years back. And that prompted, through our partnership at Purple Heart Homes with Military Makeover, we entered into an engagement with them to do 4 seasons featuring 4 different veteran families.
Yep.
Where they come into whatever town they live in, and they bring a circus with them, and
it is a
TV
circus.
cameras, and so one of the things last year is they reached out to us and said, "Hey, we'd like to do," and we agreed that we'd like to do a show in your hometown.
Right, yeah, just down the road. I mean, literally.
Yeah, and so we started looking around town for a veteran family that might benefit from this thing, and so I immediately just said, well, you know what, I'll just reach out to Jared, and I gave him a phone call and said, hey, man, got this thing coming. It's not going to be little. And I need you to know what you're getting into, but I think it'd really help you and your family. I think it'd be a really good thing. And then I caught a twist in his arm, and you'd be really helping Purple Heart Homes out a lot. and he's not, and I'm correct there.
That is
right?
true, absolutely.
And so after that, there was like an application process. It didn't go through us, right? The application process went through Military Makeover.
Okay.
Isn't that the way you dealt?
We dealt with Military Makeover. I had no idea who that was. So we just got a phone call out of the blue. And you were like, hey, can we put your name in for this? And we thought it was like everything you put your name in for. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
cool.
we were like,
and
not gonna happen.
nothing-
Not gonna happen.
nothing's gonna come out
And
of
you
this.
said, oh, it's kind of a big deal just a second ago. But the way I remember that conversation is like, oh, they come in and they do some painting and things like that. And I thought they might replace our mailbox.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
That was the big, like,
the big
exciting
reveal.
We were
moment.
like,
Wow.
sure, whatever. Probably not gonna happen. Moving on. But
It's
that's
shaped
not
like a
what
Conestoga
happened.
wagon. Right?
Man.
Out of curiosity, did they replace your mailbox?
They did not replace the mailbox. I thought we might get a couple of pieces of new furniture. I thought
Yeah.
they would paint some rooms and maybe we get a new mailbox, and that's pretty much it. And then the things started unfolding. We did the application process, and then we kept like waiting them to be like, "Oh, thanks for your time, but no, we're not. We're gonna go with someone else." And we okay, And then they picked us, and we were like, "What?"
What was the interview that was like to get in the application process? What was your interview like?
So there were a couple of rounds of questionnaires that you would fill out. What do you need done around the house? Because I think they've got sort of a sweet spot of just broken down enough, but not so broken that
That's right.
it wrecks the budget.
Yeah,
They only have a week.
Well,
And,
yeah, it's
No
more they can't
foundational
rebuild.
problems.
Yeah,
we
no,
got
you can't do
complete
that.
termite infestation, mold everywhere.
And so,
Yeah.
so fortunately, we definitely needed some help, but it wasn't going to be so much that it would, be beyond their capabilities.
Right.
And I think they wanted to get to know us a little bit, just kind of see are these, going to be this family going to be suitable to put on our television show, and so we evidently checked enough boxes for them that they ended up selecting us, which was amazing to get that call kind of out of nowhere. They had Zoom called with us a couple of times, and we had spoken to a number of the different producers and the writers. And one day we get a call, and Art, one of the hosts, is on. And he's like, "Hey,
Art's such a
He's
good
a
dude.
wonderful guy.
congratulations, you're the next Military Makeover family."
And Jared and I looked at each other like,
What?
"What?
What does that mean?
That's nice."
Can I have a
We're getting a
mailbox?
new mailbox.
That was what the application process looked like.
All right.
And then,
go ahead,
then
Sydney.
they started like sending out contractors. So first we had an inspection during the application process, and I was like, oh, they're really like looking at everything. But then they kept sending out contractors. They tried to keep it as secret as possible, but I was like, by the 20th contractor, I was like, I kind of feel like this is a big deal. What are they gonna do? Like it was really like the months leading up to it. I was like, it started dawning on me. Oh, I think this is gonna be really big.
Yeah.
But I had no idea in the beginning.
All right. So let's fast forward. You guys get selected. You get all the contractors coming over. Let's talk about what y'all had to do, right, leading up to it. Because for those that don't know, the family has to leave their home.
Oh, yeah.
Move
You
out
have to move
completely,
out.
like we were selling it.
Like you were selling it, right? So talk about what that all looked like.
They were very considerate. They shipped us a bunch of boxes. Every time we, would run out of boxes, we'd just give them a call. They would send more. And so over a period of a couple
of months. So they did the pre-filming, like where they did the interview and everything when we were still living in the house. And then as soon as that interview was over, they probably did that the beginning of December.
Yep. So
and
we had 2
then we
months.
had a month and maybe 5 weeks to move
Oh,
out.
and
So
by the way, Christmas was right in there.
Oh yeah,
It was.
Christmas. Yeah.
So you're moving out in the
decorated
middle
anyway.
of Christmas?
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
to.
Oh. Well, hey, that made a little convenient because when you put up the decorations, you know where to put them in that storage container sitting in your front yard. It's
True.
Yeah, I decorated anyway. I said we are going to have a tree. I don't care if we're moving out in 2 weeks. So we put everything in boxes. I tried to do it as slowly as possible. The couple of weeks leading up to it, where we're putting our final things in, that gets a little chaotic with 4 kids.
Oh
and
my gosh.
because I don't mind the moving process, but tripping over babies and stacks of boxes, that was a little bit intense for a while there. And then we moved out. They put us up in this nice Airbnb down in Mooresville, down on the lake.
That's pretty cool.
And it was great. We were like, man, this is like nice.
And so, and so for those listening, they don't just move them out and then just leave them there, right? They put y'all on like this whirlwind tour of things.
Yeah,
They
right?
did.
So
what all did y'all do?
Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So, and I feel bad because I'm not going to be able to remember everybody's names or thank everybody the way that they deserve. But the first thing they did was send me down to Charlotte. So there was a Firestone where I got my truck worked on. Later that day, we went up to So Much Fun
Oh my goodness!
Where Sydney,
I had
talk about that
full
for a minute.
panic attack after that one. I mean, Jared calls me up. He's like, "Hey, they gave me a good gift card. They worked on my changed my oil," and I was like, "Okay, that's a nice gift.
That's
But
reasonable.
Sure,
reasonable.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I
thank
can
you.
accept something like that." And they took me to this sewing shop and gave me like a nice sewing machine and serger. Like I had an $80 Brother sewing machine from
Yeah.
Walmart
Oh,
for 15 years, and they gave me. It was like upgrading from a 95 Ford F-150 to a Ferrari. And I was like, I cried for 2 hours after that. I was like, we can't accept any more gifts. No, I'm over. I'm done. I was not well
the
after that.
Ferrari of sewing machines.
Like, and I was like, the people who are watching the show are not going to understand what they gave me.
Right.
But that is, if you like sewing at all, oh my gosh, I was hysterical. And on the show, they showed the second clip of like the second take of me receiving it, because the first time I did it, I walked in, no idea, and I looked at her and I said, "Wait, are you giving this to me?" And she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I can't. What? No." You're like, "Cut. No, go back out. You gotta come back in and do it again." Because I was like, "You can't give me this. Why are you giving me this?"
And then they were like, "No,
So-
you can't say no."
No. So yeah, that was Monday, and
Oh my gosh.
that was too much. Oh my gosh, that
And they
was
did
really,
stuff for the kids too.
Oh, yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
took the kids out to rescue rams.
Yep,
Yeah.
they gave us a wonderful tour.
Dave and Buster.
Dave and
Dave and
Buster's. That was
Buster's.
fun.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah.
meet the CEO, nicest guy.
The CEO of Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, it's like Chris
Wow.
something.
Wow,
right?
he
Chris
just-
something.
he-
Chris came out and met us and just showed us a great time. He was very kind.
I would, you
So
would
go-
think his
go to
name
Dave and
would
Buster's.
be
Go
to
Dave or
Dave.
Buster.
Yeah.
right?
You
Yeah.
But his
really
name's
would, but
Chris or Bob.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's just one of those
never been.
things, though. Hey,
All right, go
we're-
ahead.
yeah. Oh, we're getting ready to put a pin in it right there. We'll be back in here a little bit, but before we go, I want to just mention that at the 500 Club this week, upcoming week on Friday the 13th. 10% share for Purple Heart Homes. Please come out and support us. You've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
There's more Putting the Pieces Back Together with John Gallina and Brad Borders on the way from 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
What is it? Staticky in my.
We're doing a share, like a profit share with the 500 Club, which is the restaurant.
So when you go out and
Yeah.
buy food there,
Yeah,
some of the proceeds come back to us.
that's correct.
Come
Yeah.
back to Purple. Oh, that's
At the
beautiful.
same place we're having our golf tournament.
Yeah, and for those on Facebook, we are having a golf tournament. I think it's all sold out though.
It is, but we are still looking for some sponsors. There's some
whole sponsors.
whole sponsors
Yeah.
and bronze and silver
Yeah,
sponsorships.
if you want to
maybe
sponsor a
open
whole,
still. Yeah.
Yeah, it's $250 for a whole sponsor. You can go on our website, phhusa.org, and find out a little bit about that, and that'd
Yeah.
be cool. It's going to be a great day, man.
Oh,
The 500 Club, that sounds awesome.
it is.
Is there like a NASCAR dude involved with that?
believe
is it Mikey?
one of the
Mikey Waltrip?
Mike Wal. Yeah.
Mikey Waltrip.
Waltrip.
Yeah, Waltrip.
Yeah.
Daryl's brother.
Yes, that's
Also
that's
Daytona 500 winner, Mike Waltrip.
correct. Oof, that's a. I think
And his brother.
his trophy is up front.
Oh, yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, if you walk in the front
I
door.
think that's probably why
And-
they called it the 500
And where is
Club.
this establishment?
This
This
is the
is
old
in,
Fox Den Country Club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
had about 3 names, and if you went there 2 names ago, you'd be like, I don't know about that. But I was there
man.
today, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they really,
It's legit.
they put some money into that course, made it look absolutely beautiful.
Cool thing about whenever Mike won the Daytona 500, his brother Daryl was calling the race
Oh, that's neat.
and called him crossing the line and was crying. You know, and he's like, "Way to go, Mikey!" Yeah. You know, Daryl was the guy that would go boogity, boogity, boogity.
You would.
Let's go racing, boys.
Boogity, boogity,
I-
boogity.
Yeah.
I
I
went
don't
to
think-
the world premiere of Cars at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and
Wait, what?
yeah, it was Chase Hatchett's birthday party, and they did like a little 8-car race beforehand, and Daryl was at it, and he was driving and calling. He was announcing from the car.
Nice.
That's
Wow,
So they're
that's
getting ready
so cool.
getting ready to take off, and he's like boogity boogity boogity, and they just take off, and it's the loudest thing I'd ever heard in my life. It was amazing. Yeah.
All right, we're going back live.
On events to submit your event today.
It's Putting the Pieces Back Together with John Gallina and Brad Borders on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Hey, welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. It is a fantastic day, and we're so glad that you joined in with us. We got Jared and Sydney Bowman here, recipients of an incredible gift through Military Makeover, a TV show hosted by Montel Williams on the Lifetime Network. You can go back and take a look at all this. There's 4 episodes. You get to see kind of the genesis of how their home was completely made over all the way to the end. And they just aired the final reveal that so many people in Statesville showed up at. And we've been talking about what they did with Jared and Sydney while they had to move out of their home while their home was being made over. And I just want you to know, while their home was being made over, I went over there every day. Devin was evidently there at night drinking mojitos.
I mean, yeah, just the one night.
But it was incredibly cold. That was so cold all week long. I mean, the high was like 20, and the lows were, it was single digits. It was all the contractors were freezing to death.
I watched a woman painting, and the paint was freezing as she was putting the paint on. It was
incredible.
Yeah, she was outside. It was terrible.
So let me just give you the overview. So Jared and Sydney's home was built in 1950.
63.
Oh, 63. I thought it was 53. Okay. So in 1963, a long time ago.
Long time.
Right? Like before I was born, and I'm old, right? And so their house needed some love, right? And it was you had already done some work in your kitchen, but they were like windows and things that needed to be done. And I don't think that you guys were expecting the extent of the makeover.
No. We were not.
No.
Right? And so here we are. We fast forward. We've done all the work. And then that Sunday, we're there, working for 8 days. They did all of this in 8 days. And it was a beehive of activity. And there were contractors. I've got to thank Ricky Driver and Chris Benson and Hunk of Junk Holland. And there's so many people to thank. But that Sunday was a big reveal day, right? And the whole community came out. The mayor came out.
He made a proclamation.
He
proclaimed at my house.
Gave the key to the city.
To the city was given to Montel.
It was incredible.
At my house.
It was incredible.
And I believe Muggsy Bogues was standing out front too.
Charlotte
Michael
Hornets
Jordan's
were there.
brother was there. James Jordan. The honeybees were
there.
there.
The honeybees.
I mean, they were cold.
Oh gosh,
they didn't have a lot of clothing.
I was talking to him beforehand. I was like, "Oh my, I can't believe y'all come out here in this."
It was amazing. I mean, the whole thing. It was a circus. So I want you to just walk us through what that looked like pulling up to your house after not being there for 9 days, and what was all that?
Sure. So so we're sitting in this Ford Expedition, sort of at the turnoff to our street. And they've got this motorcycle gang group affiliation.
I wouldn't call them a gang.
But it was
a club.
my sergeant major at the MCPOD was actually a member of this group. So I jumped out. I was like, "Hey guys, you know Sergeant Major so and so?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like, "She just Sergeant Major." And like, "Yeah, we know who you are." And so it was just this really cool connection. I got to speak with them and just say hi and get to know them a little bit. So we wait there till it's time to roll. And
which was a long time.
TV.
That was the longest wait. They knew how to build up some suspense. I mean, my anxiety was just going like crazy.
I think they do that on purpose, that you're like on edge,
immediately crying.
And of course it's cold, so we feel terrible for everybody's got to stand out there. But at last the moment comes, and we kind of come over the hill, and we can see our house, which was a red brick house before, has now been painted white. And
oh my gosh!
There's everybody in town standing outside.
Did you expect that?
Well, actually, Jen called me. If it's a really big thing that she's nervous that somebody might not
by the way, let's talk about Jen for a second.
First of all, she is amazing.
Absolutely wonderful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, I care about my house. I care about what it looks like. I care about paint colors and everything. And she was like, "Don't worry, I got you." And I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, I don't know. But she did a bang-up job. But she called me like a couple of months before, and she said, "Hey, listen, I want to do something, but I really need your permission because I'm a little nervous that maybe somebody won't like it. I want to paint your house." And I was like, do it. Like, just do it. Oh my gosh. And it was just shocking coming over that hill and seeing that White House. I mean, it's just so stunning. Stunning. It's the most beautiful house in the neighborhood now.
It certainly is. I mean, it really turned out amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. All right, so you pulled up. Tell us what happened.
So yeah, everybody is cheering and clapping, and that was overwhelming in and of itself. Because here they've been standing out here for hours, so I just want to go around and thank everybody. And they're like, "No, go up to the house. We gotta shoot the segment." and so yeah, I got to shake a few people's hands. Got to meet Muggsy for a second. That was really cool. My daughters loved the honeybees, the Hornets cheerleaders. And so they bring us up, and Montel's there, and we're filming the parts outside. And I really wanted to pray and thank the Lord before we went in.
I just want to stop right there because I thought that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
It was
when you had that entire, and I realized they didn't put that in the show, but that was important, right? Because I know how much your faith means to you. I mean, my faith means a lot to me, and to be able to stop and thank God and tell the whole crowd that you were asking God to use all of that for His purposes. And I just thought that was really neat and way to seize on that moment.
And it was a God thing. That we should not have had that time. We were supposed to go straight in, and then they had to reset something with the camera. And so I know I've got 45 seconds.
Was that right after Sydney hugged the post?
Oh, I hugged those posts.
Oh,
listen.
I've got a
That was going to be my favorite.
Oh my goodness! We had just this big porch, and these posts are wrapped in vinyl. And I was just, I look at those every time I sit on my porch. Man, one day,
they're gonna look awesome.
And they did it, and I didn't ask for it. They just did it, and that was just incredible. But yeah, I hugged the post, and then Jared was like, "Let's thank the Lord," and I was like, "Do it!" I was hysterical.
So,
oh my gosh!
Yeah, they had to reset something on the camera, and so they said, "Hang out for just a second." And so I just asked Montel, "It'd be okay if I thank everybody involved?" And I made sure to include the Lord in that.
Yeah, there you go.
That was
awesome.
It was beautiful.
And so, what was it like? Okay, so then Montel says, "All right, let's go in," right?
Yep.
And walk us through that.
That thing. So just to kind of get some sort of context, they replaced the roof. They replaced the windows. They ripped out our bathrooms to the studs and rebuilt all of that. They did the gutters. They painted the entire exterior of the house, landscaping. I mean, it was.
I gotta thank our boy Jonathan Santiago and his brother Jesus.
Yes.
And all of their crew. They did the bathrooms, and it was just incredible.
Well, along with JP's Plumbing
and JP's Plumbing,
and our friends at Hughes supplied all that stuff.
Fenway, man. Oh my gosh,
solid dude.
It was amazing.
And they had told us they weren't going to get to the bathrooms. When they came in December, Jen said, "Listen, bathrooms are a kiss of death for something like this. It's just we don't have enough time. It's not going to happen." And so I was like, "Wow, that's fair. There's no way you can renovate 2 bathrooms in 8 days." She lied to me,
but lying in a good way.
It was the best. I did not expect that at all. It was, and I can't believe it. There was water damage, and they fixed the water damage. I mean, in 8 days. Have y'all ever known any bathroom renovation to be done in 8 days?
I've not seen it.
Top notch too. It's beautiful.
Not unless you got the Santiago brothers on
that tile work, Santiago brothers was.
Hey, our chairman of the board, Dave Sternberg, said, "Tell the Bowmans that the board is proud of them and thanks for letting PHH serve."
Wow, it was a huge blessing to us. I mean, just this gift. Because we were sitting around afterward talking about what's all this worth. We were trying to figure it out.
Oh my gosh!
And I mean, well into the 6 figures. But then the thing on top of all of that is the fact that it did happen in 8 days.
Yeah,
it did.
And if you were going to try to do that to a house, I mean, there's no way to put it. Yeah, there's no way to put a dollar amount.
Yeah,
on
it was
what
really
was
a community. It was a community effort. I mean, it was incredible. I want you to talk about what's happening in your backyard.
Oh my gosh!
So
we're in the kitchen, and Montel said, "You like everything? You like it?" He said, "No, best is yet to come. You hadn't even seen it yet. Now, I know what your favorite part is going to be. Just give it a second." And I'm like, "What is in my backyard?" And I just saw the shed, and I was like, oh, they put a shed out there. It's real nice. And
you really didn't know until you walked in.
No idea until I opened that door that it was a schoolhouse. And it is beautiful. It has pine siding on the inside. It smells like a cabin in there. Cutest little furniture chalkboards, and as many pencils as anyone could ever need. The supplies were out of control.
Did the telescope come with it?
There was a telescope.
They gave me a telescope.
Like for astronomy class.
It was insane.
Incredible.
I got out and I could see a bunch of people were looking in my backyard, all people who had gathered and stuff. And I just looked at them and I mouthed, "Holy crap!" And they were all cracking up laughing because it was truly absolutely beautiful. And our home is a place that we do ministry. And so we're there all the time. We're constantly trying to feed people and love on people and host people and just to have somebody come in and just elevate it and with a snap of it was like fairy godmother.
Wow.
Yeah. So everybody needs to know this though. So Jared didn't just fall out of a helicopter, and that's why I got. This is Jared and Sydney both give back to their community in significant ways. Jared is he helps me in Veteran Treatment Court as a mentor coordinator for veterans that are entangled with the justice system. He's always serving. I just remember this, and I'm just going to embarrass you, but I remember watching you for years and years look after Eber Hudson. And Eber was an older gentleman, and Jared took an incredible interest in him and his family, and still looking after Miss Margaret. And I just watched that, and I was just so proud that this happened for you guys. So proud and so thankful and so happy for the both of you, and you deserve it.
This has been an incredible blessing to our family, and I mean, again, there's no way to appropriately thank everybody, but Statesville and the wider group of people that came around us, you have blessed us beyond measure, and we love you guys. Thank you, thank you so much for the investment you made in our family.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank y'all for being guests on our show. Again, I want to mention to everybody that. The 500 Club restaurant is going to be doing a profit share on the 13th. Come on out and support us, and support Purple Heart Homes in general. We do a lot of good things for veterans, and we can't do that without your support. And thank you again, Jared and Sydney, for being here. It's just been a great show. And next week, we're going to have another one coming.
That's right. You've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together. Thank you so much.
Better than ever before. 105.9, 100.7. WSIC, Statesville, Morrisville, North Charlotte.